The taste of gunmetal. That's where we begin. Cold, oily, and final. He calls himself Jack, or maybe the world calls him that. It doesn't matter. He has no real name, only a collection of IKEA furniture and a dry cleaning bill. He is sitting in a high-rise. Outside, the world is made of glass and steel. Inside, the barrel of a Beretta is pressed against the back of his throat. He isn't screaming. He isn't crying. He's just tired. He spent his life looking at catalogs, measuring his worth by the Klipsky coffee table or the Hovet mirror. He has become a secondary character in his own life, a byproduct of a lifestyle obsession. And then there's Tyler. Tyler is the lightning. Tyler is the sweat. Tyler's the man Jack wishes he was, the one who doesn't care about the thread count of his sheets or the balance in his 401k. But as the gun sits in Jack's mouth, we realize the truth. Tyler isn't freedom. Tyler's what happens when freedom has no direction. He isn't a savior. He is a parasite. The tumor that grew when Jack's soul finally ran out of oxygen. This is Fight Club David Fincher masterpiece. I'm breaking down the films that were meant to be warnings but became instructions. David Fincher's masterwork of the fractured psyche, a film that failed at the box office because the world wasn't ready to see its own reflection in a bruised face. It's a pipe bomb wrapped in a Starbucks napkin, a story about the moment the IKEA nest burns down and the first punch is thrown in a parking lot. Stay until the final frame. Because Tyler Durden isn't the hero you've been told he is. And the narrator isn't the victim you think he is. 1999 was a year of cinematic earthquakes. The Matrix, The Sixth Sense, American Beauty. But Fight Club was different. It was aggressive. It was grimy. It was a commercial disaster that became a cultural contagion. The studio didn't know how to sell it. They thought it was a boxing movie. They marketed it to the wrong crowd. But here's the irony. The film is a critique of the angry young man. It's a satire of how easily we exchange one form of slavery, consumerism, for another, fascism. And yet, the world looked at Tyler Durden and said, I want to be him. They missed the joke. They missed the tragedy. We aren't talking about the fights today. We are talking about the void. We are talking about the most clinical and terrifying breakdown of the American psyche ever committed to 35mm film. This is David Fincher's most aggressive lens. This is Brad Pitt's most magnetic shadow. This is Edward Norton's most heartbreaking surrender. The first movement of this film feels like a migraine. Fincher uses a dirty palette. Sickly greens, fluorescent yellows, the color of a hospital hallway at 3 a.m. Jack is a recall coordinator. His job is to apply a formula to human life. If the cost of a car recall is higher than the cost of a court settlement for a fiery death, they don't do the recall. He spends his life in the blurred state. Everything is a copy of a copy of a copy. He can't sleep because he doesn't exist. He has no friction. He has no purpose. So he goes to support groups for people with terminal illnesses. He fakes cancer to feel the warmth of a human hug. He is a tourist in other people's pain. Why? Because pain is the only thing that feels real in a world made of polyester. Enter Marla Singer. Marla is the mirror. She's a tourist too. She's messy, she's dark, she's a big ball of lint. Jack hates her because she reflects his own emptiness back at him. She ruins his crying sessions. She forces him back into the real world. And then, on a plane ride, he meets Tyler Durden. Tyler is everything Jack isn't. He wears red leather. He has an I don't give a damn haircut. He makes soap. He lives in a house that's literally rotting into the ground. He is the antithesis of the IKEA catalog. When Jack's apartment explodes, incinerating his perfect life, he calls Tyler. I want you to hit me as hard as you can. That is the pivotal line of the 20th century. It's not about violence, it's about sensation. It's about a man who has been so numb for so long that he needs to feel his own blood hit the pavement just to know he's alive. The Fight Club begins as a secret, a basement brotherhood. It's a space where men who spend their days being told the customer is always right can finally be wrong. They can be bruised, they can be ugly. But watch how the tone shifts. Tyler's rhetoric starts to change. It goes from self-improvement is masturbation to self-destruction is the answer. He moves from freeing these men to mobilizing them. He gives them uniforms, he gives them homework assignments, he takes away their names. You are not your khakis, you are not your bank account. It's an intoxicating message. It's the message every lonely man wants to hear. But Tyler is a hypocrite. He replaces their consumerist identity with a cult identity. Fincher's camera becomes more stable here, more clinical. The chaos of the early scenes is replaced by the rigid, terrifying order of Project Mayhem. The house on Paper Street becomes a factory for mayhem. The tragedy of Fight Club is that Jack doesn't realize he's been traded. He moved from a cubicle to a bunker, but he's still taking orders. He's still a copy. The image feels wrong, sick, like it's been exposed to something it shouldn't survive. That's intentional. Jeff Cronenweth, the cinematographer, used a process called flashing the film to give it that grimy, underexposed look. It feels like the movie was filmed in a basement during a blackout. The framing is claustrophobic. Even in wide shots, the characters are boxed in by architecture. When Tyler appears in those subliminal frames, single-frame flashes, it feels like a glitch in the Matrix. It's the visual representation of a psychotic break. The sound design is tactile. You hear the crunch of bone, you hear the slap of blood. It isn't Hollywood movie fighting, it's ugly, it's awkward, it's wet. And then there's the CGI. Think back to the scene where the camera flies through Jack's apartment, highlighting the prices of the furniture. It's cold, it's digital, it's exactly how a mind obsessed with things perceives reality. Fincher isn't showing us a room, he's showing us a ledger. The twist isn't just that Tyler isn't real. The twist is that Jack created him to survive his own life. Tyler is the ideal masculine archetype. He's the lover Marla actually wanted. But Tyler's also a fascist. He wants to reset the world to zero. He wants to destroy the past so he can own the future. When Jack realizes that he is Tyler, the film stops being a Western-style war and becomes a horror movie. He is fighting his own shadow. He is running across the country, trying to shut down the clubs he started, realizing that the monster he birthed is now larger than he is. Project Mayhem is out of his control. The space monkeys don't care about Jack. They only care about the legend. The final confrontation in the skyscraper is a masterpiece of tension. Jack realizes the only way to kill the shadow is to kill the man. He has to accept his own mortality to reclaim his own mind. He pulls the trigger. The bullet goes through his cheek, but it goes through Tyler's head. The legend dies, the man remains. The film ends with Jack and Marla holding hands as the buildings fall. Where Is My Mind by the Pixies begins to play. It's a beautiful image of total destruction. But ask yourself, is this a happy ending? The dead is gone, the records are burned, but Jack is standing in the ruins of a world he helped destroy. He is a man who finally found his voice, but only after he lost everything else. We live in a world that is more like Fight Club now than it was in 1999. We are more connected and more lonely. We are more consumerist and more desperate for the real. We look at Tyler Durden on social media, the gurus, the influencers, the men telling you how to be alpha. And we forget that Tyler was the villain. Tyler was the part of us that hates ourselves so much we'd rather burn the world down than fix our own hearts. I'm breaking down the masterpieces that wait for discovery. The films that are forgotten by the masses but remembered by the soul. Subscribe if you want more of the stories that matter. Comment below. Who is your Tyler Durden? What is the thing you built your identity around to avoid looking at the nothing inside? Have you ever felt the urge to destroy something beautiful just to see what's underneath? Look at your hands. Are they yours? Or are they just holding someone else's gun? Next up, the master, the cult that became love. But for now, stop buying things you don't need with money you don't have to impress people you don't like, because you're not your job. You are not how much money you have in the bank. You are the moment the buildings fall. You are the silence after the punch, because the moment you look away, Tyler comes back.